introduce Chad Holt, who you've been looking at for 90 minutes.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce Bob Ray.
Nice.
Woo! Yeah, Bob Ray.
So we just want to thank y'all for coming again, and if anybody has any questions about it, but once again, we're playing at the Egyptian tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So if you know any buddies, pals that want to check it out, please let them know. And we're on tour, so if you know anyone in Phoenix, Las Cruces and Marfa, we're screening Hell on Wheels, but in Phoenix, we're screening both movies, so we'll both be there on Saturday. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Yes, this strange gentleman.
I was wondering why you guys kind of only touched on the South by Southwest thing. Like it was just kind of, it was a short, like kind of a quick.
Come on,
I mean, you talked about, you showed the news clip and then kind of talked about the charges, but it didn't really, it wasn't. I was hoping there'd be a little more because it seemed like a real big thing in your life.
Yeah, we juggled with several different ways of addressing that, and at one point, I thought to maybe just sort of reveal that near the end, as in like you're going with him to all these probation meetings, but you don't know why. But then, as the story with the family came up with Shay, that just took over a little bit, and so all that changed. And at least from my perspective of trying to craft the story out of this, it seemed that was kind of a footnote at this point. It was a big deal. I mean, you're from Austin. It was a big deal in Austin. It was all over the news there, but it didn't seem to warrant that dramatic leading you along. And in those rough cuts when we did that, it just felt like we don't even care anymore. There's all this other stuff happening, and so we actually wrestled with where to put that information. I thought it was interesting that it seemed to me the way we crafted it is that you find out he's on probation and then you find out why. After you see him do drugs and shit, it's already kind of crazy, and you're like, oh, he's been doing all of that. And then it was just a matter of trying to find a way to reveal it.
It was a big reveal the way with the news story.
And he just looks funny with his hair on. Yeah. It's like a terrorist, actually.
When I got arrested for that, I'd been arrested in Austin at least 10 times by then. And so there was countless mugshots that they could have used. Everyone else, it was obviously, from that day, all my high school friends and Mark, the guy in the band with me, everyone, it was like, hey, this is his new mugshot, but they obviously just sat there and flipped through mine, and it was from like 5, 7 years ago. They're like, oh, look at this one. This is the one we got to use. So I didn't even look like that when I got arrested. But that's an interesting side note. The Statesman kind of went out of their way to find me at my worst, I felt like. So since you brought it up, Kevin.
No,
thanks.
it's good to know.
Did anybody else have any questions?
Bob,
Go ahead.
do you have any ties to the Texas coast? So I noticed you had a Lamarck and a Lake
Oh yeah,
Jackson
man. I was
shirt.
born on Galveston Island, and I grew up in Lamarck till I was 13. I was student body president of Brazosville High School, Lake Jackson, Texas.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I have some really good friends who went to Brazosville.
Yeah? Where are they, man?
Actually, one of them will be here tomorrow.
I'm surprised. I have a lot. What year did you graduate? We won't waste any more of y'all's time. What year did you graduate?
97.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. My sister is actually Holt.
I'm not from down there.
Oh, you're not?
But I have some
you
good
didn't
buddies
go to
that went to Lake Jackson,
Well, never mind then.
Brazosville.
No, I'm kidding, dude. Yeah, I'm from there.
Cool.
Did your parents or your kids see the movie yet?
My parents haven't seen the movie. So some of their really good friends went and saw it in Denver, and we stayed with them and everything. Bob and I did. They haven't seen it, and my parents are really good parents, and the way that I act on a lot of things isn't really a reflection on them. And they're proud of me, and they've always been very supportive of me. And in fact, everything about the way I am, I don't know if it's worth a shit or not, but I owe to my mom and my dad. But it's not really their thing. A lot of that stuff I don't know where it came from. So it's just kind of odd for them. My kids, Shay has actually seen. When Bob was working on it, there was the big last chunk of that was kind of just me and the kids, and maybe me smoking pot, which they've seen all the time anyway. He had a fake ending or whatever. I think it's the real ending now, but I let him see that chunk of it just to see himself on film and everything. Because he's curious about it and all, obviously. And Jess hasn't seen any yet. And I did leave the movie. The movie was just sitting there at the house. They could have picked it up and watched it if they wanted to. Whether or not they did, I don't know. It's like if you be the gun or the drugs or anything else around the house, and you know the kids could get into it. So in theory, they could have watched it if they really wanted to. I just sort of showed them where I wanted to. The only thing I really have a problem with is the dick, and it's just, it's like gotta be weird. Just from their point of view, it's just have to be weird. Sorry, Dad, dick and stuff, you know. So that kind of bothers me. Doesn't bother me. It's just about reservation, and then the cocaine is the only thing that I've never done around them. I wouldn't do it around them. I never really felt comfortable doing coke anyway. And I've always been real honest, and the shit that I do in front of my kids, a lot of it's not agreeable, but I'm okay. If, you know, that's really the only thing that I ever wouldn't have wanted to do. You know, there was no pride in it whatsoever. So that I would kind of, they're young, you know. I don't want them. I would hate them to end up with the impression that, hey, this is just something everybody does. It's just a little phase you go through. Shit, my dad did it. So I don't know, man. They haven't seen the whole movie because of the dick and the cocaine, but they have seen parts of it. You know. Yeah, you know, if I really cared, maybe I wouldn't have put them in something like that at all. But when they get older, you know, I guess they can watch it, but they have not seen the whole thing yet, unless they watched it when I wasn't around.
What did they say?
Which
about
wouldn't
the
you?
parts
I
they
mean, if
saw?
there was a movie sitting there and you knew you were in the movie, I mean, I knew all of that. I know that it just sat there on the floor for like a week or two, and I wouldn't be surprised if they watched it, because I certainly would have. If I knew I was in a movie as a kid, I would want to know what it was, you know. Yeah, so. Did I answer everything? I know I cut you right
What
off.
did they say about the stuff they saw?
Oh, the stuff he saw, he was really freaked out about his voice, which of course I am too. Everyone is, you know. He just can't believe how much he's probably sound like a girl, because I remember, it's a terrible thing to say about it, but I remember being that age and just like, that's what freaked me out, is how I sound.